An unusual surge rises, signaling that the dominant hunter has taken position. Orcas do not rely on strength alone, but on turning the ocean into a calculated trap. They coordinate through sound, assign clear roles, and pressure the target away from the group. Each close approach makes the vast open water feel narrower and colder. When the ocean falls under orca control, nowhere truly remains safe. In many cold ocean regions, orcas hold the position of apex predators. A full-grown individual can weigh over 12,000 pounds, generating strong pressure with each stroke. But their true advantage lies in group intelligence and precise coordination. The pod divides directions, closes the circle, and controls the pace of pursuit as a unified formation. Because of this, orcas stand as a living symbol of strategy, discipline, and oceanic power. The vast ocean has long been seen as the domain of the great white shark, a biological fortress stretching beyond 18 feet. With a powerful bite and a highly sensitive electroreception system, it can detect even the faintest signals in the blue water. The quiet appearance of a single dorsal fin is often enough to make nearby animals change course. But deeper below the surface, another force begins to enter. The orca, an apex predator, does not arrive alone, but as a coordinated thinking unit. They do not create chaos. They take positions, close distance, and use sound to guide and communicate, gradually placing the shark into a passive defensive state. Then the rhythm of the ocean shifts. From a lower angle, one orca accelerates with sudden precision. The approach is short, controlled, and exact, rapidly narrowing the available space. In a brief moment, the shark is turned off balance, triggering tonic immobility, a rare biological response that can occur when a shark is inverted in the water. Those few seconds are enough for a former ruler of the open sea to lose its defensive rhythm. The encounter concludes in near silence. The orcas remain near the area for a brief moment, then depart in formation. In the open ocean, it becomes clear. Collective intelligence and strategic thinking can surpass even the most formidable solitary weapon. Around Antarctica, small drifting ice floes become valuable resting points in the cold ocean. For the Weddell seal, a streamlined body weighing over 880 pounds allows strong control in deep water. But when resting on the ice, that advantage shifts into stillness, distance, and a fragile sense of safety. From beneath the surface, orcas detect a different opportunity. To them, the ice floe is not an impenetrable barrier, but a structure that can be tested through waves, angles of approach, and coordination. This is known as wave washing, a specialized hunting technique in which the group uses the surface itself to reshape the situation. A pod of about 3 to 4 individuals forms a line, swimming in parallel and accelerating near the surface. Their synchronized tail beats push a mass of water forward, creating a wave that can rise over 4 feet. As the surge reaches the edge of the ice, the moment tightens. The flow trembles slightly, tilts, while the seal shifts deeper toward the center. The orcas do not rush. They circle back, repeat the motion, adjust spacing, and continue building pressure. With each passing wave, the safe zone narrows just a little more. Field observations show that this wave-driven method reflects an exceptionally precise level of coordination among Antarctic orcas. But what stands out is not only the technique, it is how orcas turn water, ice, and group discipline into a survival strategy. Not every population masters this method. When it appears, it reflects learning, shared experience, and the collective intelligence of the ocean. The long migration across thousands of miles in the open ocean reveals the presence of a full-grown humpback whale. With pectoral fins reaching about 16 feet, functioning like living shields, the mother protects and deflects repeated approaches to safeguard her calf. Her calm presence becomes a steady barrier in the vast sea. Yet the orca pod does not rely on individual strength. They establish an endurance pursuit lasting up to 5 hours, rotating groups to approach and forcing the mother and calf to constantly change direction. Trails of bubbles, acoustic signals, and unpredictable movement gradually compress the space around the young whale. As the calf's rhythm begins to slow, the orcas introduce a refined distraction. One individual approaches from below, moving alongside in an irregular pattern that mimics the familiar presence near its mother. In the brief moment the calf drifts from its safer position, others maintain pressure near the surface, disrupting its breathing rhythm and movement. Gradually, the pod turns the open ocean into an invisible enclosure. In the deep ocean, size and endurance offer significant advantages, but nature shows that orcas earn their reputation as survival strategists by turning collective intelligence into an advantage across every mile of water. Along the cold coastlines near Antarctica, orcas are not only powerful predators, but masters of adapting to each landscape. At the water's edge, the sea lion is a fast and agile rival, equally at home in the surf and on wet sand. A large individual can weigh around 1,000 pounds, turning every close approach into a challenge of timing, angle, and retreat. In the first encounter, the orca waits for the rhythm of the tide, reading the direction of the waves and moving with the rising water. When the moment opens, its massive body accelerates along the waveline, reaching about 35 miles per hour in a short burst. The orca slides briefly onto the shore, applying pressure that disrupts the target's balance, then uses the power of its tail to return to deeper water. This is the well-known strategy called intentional stranding, or beach hunting, a behavior that requires memory, experience, and precise timing. But when the terrain shifts, the strategy changes as well. In deeper water, the stingray remains close to the seabed, equipped with a spine about 5 inches long, making direct approach risky. The orca chooses a different method. It adjusts its movement, using its powerful tail to stir up sediment and create strong currents along the bottom. This pressure forces the ray out of hiding, briefly removing its defensive advantage. Two encounters, two different responses. Together they show that true strength lies not only in size, but in adaptability, advanced intelligence, and the unique survival strategies of orcas. In the open ocean, dolphins often appear like agile dancers of the blue sea. With bursts exceeding 20 miles per hour, they navigate their environment through clicks, acoustic signals, and continuous coordination within the group. In that world, speed and communication form the most important layers of defense. That confidence lasts only until top-tier predators enter the same waters. A full-grown orca can exceed 25 feet in length, bringing advantages of size, endurance, and precise coordination. As a pincer formation takes shape, the orcas do not rush into chaos. They maintain distance, divide their approach, and force the dolphin pod to constantly adjust its swimming rhythm. Pressure builds when one dolphin drifts from formation. At that moment, an experienced orca moves in from the side, using its trajectory and the surrounding water to create strong hydrodynamic pressure. A single shift in approach is enough to disrupt balance and rhythm, bringing the encounter to a close. In the deep ocean, dolphins rely on speed and agility. But against orcas, true strength lies in intelligence, patience, and coordination refined across generations. Each year, gray whales travel thousands of miles across the wide waters of the Pacific. Reaching lengths of nearly 49 feet, a mother moves steadily beside her calf, keeping close enough to respond to any change in the sea. Along this journey, the bond between mother and young is not only instinctive, but a defining factor for survival in a demanding environment. But the ocean rarely allows migration to unfold without challenge. As a pod of orca approaches, the space around the pair begins to fragment. Taking advantage of fatigue built over the long journey, they move in groups, shift direction, and apply pressure from multiple sides, forcing the mother to both shield and maintain her course. The encounter intensifies as the calf, measuring around 15 feet, begins to slow. One orca approaches from below, while others hold position along the flanks. This control of distance turns open water into a narrowing space. The calf gradually drifts from its familiar protective zone, while the orcas steadily take control of the situation. Soon, the deep ocean returns to calm. The gray whale demonstrates endurance and maternal strength, while the orcas reveal the power of collective intelligence in survival. The crocodile controls the water's edge through cold patience and hidden power. The moment prey moves too close to the surface, the silence turns into a sudden attack. When another predator attempts to cross the river, even the smallest movement awakens its ambush instinct. In the wild, the crocodile dominates the boundary between land and water. And once the surface begins to ripple, the real confrontation begins. The elephant is the giant of the savanna, a symbol of strength, memory, and herd unity. With a weight exceeding 10,000 pounds and a height reaching nearly 13 feet, a fully grown adult is enough to keep many predators at a distance. But for young elephants, every river crossing remains a test of survival. As the dry season drains shallow water sources, the herd is forced toward deeper and faster-moving rivers. The formation immediately tightens. Large adults move ahead to break the current, while the younger elephants stay close together in the center. On land, strength and herd memory allow elephants to face very few threats. But beneath the cloudy water, those advantages begin to weaken. Even a small current can pull a calf away from its safe position. That is when the crocodile gains the advantage. It stays low beneath the surface, using mud, waves, and the river current to conceal its movement. It does not challenge the entire herd. Instead, it targets the weaker individual pulled away from the formation. The moment the water suddenly erupts with movement, the crocodile closes in with a short burst and the advantage of ambush. Against a crocodile, even the strength of a united herd can be tested by a single moment of lost awareness. As the river slowly grows calm again, the elephants regroup along the opposite bank. In nature, survival does not always belong to the largest animal, but to those that know where to stand and when to protect one another. In Africa, the true boundary of danger is not always between predator and prey. Sometimes, it exists where the land meets the water. Across the wide, dry savanna, the lion faces very few rivals. With a powerful build and the ability to sprint at nearly 35 miles per hour over short distances, it controls open ground through strength, speed, and the confidence of a dominant predator. But when a pride approaches the riverbank, that balance begins to change. Calm water reveals nothing. Beneath the cloudy mud, a Nile crocodile remains almost perfectly still. Only the smallest signs appear above the surface. It does not display its power. It waits. The moment vibrations move through the water, the crocodile shifts from silence into action. There is no need for a long chase. It only needs the right distance and a single moment of lost awareness. Near the shoreline, young lions or individuals separated from the pride can quickly fall into a dangerous position. With one of the strongest bite forces in nature, the crocodile can turn a single step too close into a critical survival moment. But once the crocodile leaves the water and moves farther onto land, the balance changes again. On solid ground, the lion's agility, explosive strength, and coordinated group behavior create a major advantage. The crocodile becomes heavier and less maneuverable. More than anything, it needs to return to the water before becoming surrounded. Between two apex predators, victory often belongs to the one that turns the environment into a weapon. Across the savanna, the cheetah stands as an elite big cat, built with a slender frame, remarkable agility, and long legs designed for speed. It can accelerate from 0 to 60 miles per hour in only a few seconds, even faster than a lion. That explosive burst of power makes the cheetah the fastest land hunter, placing constant pressure on agile prey, such as impalas during the chase. But that speed loses its advantage near the river. After every hunt, body temperature rises quickly, endurance drops, and thirst forces the cheetah to lower its guard. In just one rushed moment of lowering its head to drink, the confidence of the speed specialist is suddenly tested. Beneath the still water, a crocodile may quietly move closer, waiting for the perfect opening to launch a sudden strike. At times, two cheetahs attempt to swim across the river while a crocodile moves in pursuit. But the attack comes too late, and both cats manage to reach the opposite bank in time. Even then, the danger never truly disappears. When a cheetah makes a successful hunt near the water's edge, the movement of moving its catch and the scent of fresh food can unintentionally alert the crocodile. This time, there is no need for a long chase. The crocodile simply waits in silence, using the briefest moment of vulnerability to claim the opportunity. The survival map of Africa's waterways is shaped by two completely different strategies. On one side stands the hippopotamus, ruler of the shallow waters with a body weight exceeding 3,000 pounds and an intensely territorial instinct. On the other is the crocodile, a predator that chooses invisibility beneath deep mud, relying on patience and a bite force reaching nearly 3,700 pounds per square inch. The overlap of territory makes conflict difficult to avoid. A crocodile rarely challenges a fully grown hippo because the risk is simply too high. Yet, along the outer edges of the herd, the carelessness of a young hippo can create a narrow opportunity. From deeper water, the hunter quietly closes the distance, turning hesitation into a moment of vulnerability. In an instant, the calm river suddenly erupts with movement. The moment the mother hippo senses the intrusion, its protective instinct activates immediately. With heavy and determined steps, it creates an almost impenetrable barrier. Against the massive force of the mother and the pressure of the herd, the crocodile quickly loses its advantage. At that moment, retreat is not a sign of defeat, but a decision made for survival. In nature, the true winner is not always the one that attacks first, but the one that understands when to advance and when to pull back. The impala is one of Africa's most agile antelope species, recognized for its lightweight body, long legs, and incredibly fast reflexes. It can run at speeds of around 55 miles per hour, leap nearly 10 feet high, and change direction repeatedly to escape predators. But the impala's greatest defense does not come from strength. It comes from speed, herd awareness, and the ability to detect danger from a distance. During the hot afternoons across the open grasslands, those advantages help impalas survive countless chases. But once the herd approaches the water's edge, the balance begins to shift. A crocodile waits beneath the surface, almost blending into the mud and floating vegetation near the bank. Only its eyes remain visible as it watches carefully. Then it waits for the exact moment when one animal lowers its head too close to the water. There is no need for a long pursuit. The crocodile depends on a short ambush, close range, and precise timing. In an ideal ambush, the crocodile's advantage can rise to nearly 70%. If it targets a young, weakened, or isolated impala, the chances of success increase even further. With an extremely powerful jaw and a sudden pull, it needs only a perfectly timed moment to change the entire encounter. In the wild, speed may save an impala across the grasslands, but it cannot guarantee safety near the water. For the crocodile, true power does not come from chasing prey, but from waiting for a single mistake. Behind the small frame of the African wild dog lies the intelligence of a true pack strategist. Weighing only around 80 pounds, these animals possess remarkable endurance and can reach speeds of nearly 44 miles per hour on land. Their instinctive coordination allows them to carry out some of the most efficient hunts in the wild. Yet the water's edge is where every advantage begins to shift. Deep currents take away speed, break apart collective movement, and force the pack into the territory of the Nile crocodile, the invisible ambush predator beneath the murky water. When one individual steps a few feet too far from shore, the calm surface suddenly breaks with a rapid ambush. The sudden pressure forces the pack to scatter. But instead of fleeing, pack discipline keeps them close. Their return, combined with coordinated pressure from every direction, creates the only opening their companion needs to escape the danger zone. At the water's edge, the crocodile is capable of breaking formations, disrupting the hunt, and forcing African wild dogs to rely entirely on pack discipline for survival. The hunt concludes, but the surface no longer holds its original calm. The orcas depart in formation, as if every movement had been planned in advance. Other creatures learn to respect distance, sound, and the movement of water. In the open ocean, collective intelligence can at times outweigh any solitary strength. If you appreciate the natural world, please like and subscribe today.